All right, we are now recording. So thanks everybody for coming to this JBBS office hours meeting. This is a place where we can discuss the monthly contract monitoring tool, CiviCore questions, gain questions, anything actually JBBS that you all have. I think where we would like to start real quick, and then I'm going to let Alex take over, is going to be with contract questions. We're working on getting contracts out. You guys have gotten a few copies of those contracts. So I apologize about that. Athena at first made a typo and had to get copies sent out to everybody. And then we went ahead and added the soft budget information to the bottom of everybody's rate schedule. We had a couple of counties that needed that budget information for their county attorneys and county commissioners. So we went ahead and added that budget information, adding that budget information to the bottom of the rate schedule. It is on the last page of the contract that Athena sent you. So if you look at the contract that Athena sent you yesterday or today, literally very last page, very bottom of that very last page, we've gotten a few questions, but it's right there on that page. So I did ask Athena just to make sure that we will not need to do amendments if budgets change, and we will not need to do with amendments if budgets change. So that is your soft CAF information. If budgets need to change, if we need to lower somebody and increase somebody, we will have those conversations directly with those counties. We will staff those budget changes within our team, and we will get you that necessary information and rate schedule change with your budget information change. So with that said, what questions do y'all have about that contract? Cool. I'm not hearing any. I'm not seeing any in the chat. If you have questions, if your BOCCs have questions, please reach out. Let us know. You have an email from me with your budget information. You have a signed letter from our CFO with your budget information, ensuring that information that is going to be your budget for this fiscal year. And now you have that rate schedule with that budget information. And I just want to remind folks, we get it. Like the GAE stuff is brand new. It's going to allow a ton of flexibility for all of us. Our amendments in the past have taken anywhere from 3 to 6 months, to the point that sometimes we can't spend. Sometimes counties don't have time because those amendments are taking too long. We are still going to track. You're still going to get a budget. The only change is that we won't need to do amendments. And so that lengthy amendment process we can get rid of, which is really nice, really cool. At the same time, if you don't sign the contract, you don't get JBBS funds. And it's not JBBS withholding any funds. It's that we can't give you money. We can't contract with you if we don't have a signed amendment for this fiscal year. So please let us know if folks have questions. Let us know if we need to explain our reasoning for the GAE. Please let us know, because we want to continue the budgets as is, as written for fiscal year 26. Kelly, Alex, did I miss anything there?
Nope. I think that covers it. April, I'm going to read your question. Given our randomly timed Brixati orders, we can look under budget sometimes. Would you like us to prepare a projection plan if we feel like we will appear to be under budget as we go through FY26?
So thanks, Kelly. Good question, April. No. No and yes. Do you need an official budget plan? No, you don't need something official. You don't need something signed by the commander. April, you don't need anything like that, but having an idea and letting us know what you can spend. The same conversations we've had in past fiscal years that we've had this fiscal year, where we've said, hey, for you all, April, I'm going to go ahead and use you as an example. Hey, Garfield County, you look a little under budget. What's your plan to spend? Are you going to spend? If you tell me, or if you tell Kelly, yes, we are going to spend, A, B, C, D is our plan to spend. We commit to spending our entire budget by the end of the fiscal year. Great. Fantastic. We're not going to make any changes to your budget. We're going to keep everything as is. We've worked with y'all long enough that we trust you guys, that you guys are going to spend if you say you're going to spend, and we will not make changes to your budget. So April, to kind of answer your question, an informal idea, an informal spending plan on what you're going to be spending those funds on would be great. But Kelly and I meet with y'all monthly, every other month sometimes. We're checking those budgets. We're checking that spending. We're talking to you about what you're spending funds on. Those conversations will not change, and we'll continue to have them. Kelly, did I miss anything? Cool.
No,
April, does that help? Yeah, April, go ahead. April, you're on mute. Oh, okay. All right. Did you need to say anything, April? You're on mute if you're talking. Okay, well, I'm going to assume everything's good. Talk to me in your meetings as well, April. We'll keep talking. Meet with you every month, so not a big deal. And same thing with Kelly. Be talking with Kelly in her meetings. We're going to continue being flexible. We're going to continue being understanding. We understand that spending is unpredictable at the jail level. You never know who's going to be coming in. You might be over budget for a while. You might be under budget for a while, and that's okay. You're good, April. Don't worry about it. If you need to put something in the chat, or if you need to message me directly, shoot me an email, shoot me a text, whatever you need. Anything else related to budgets or contracts?
We appreciate you all being flexible and understanding with this. We know there's a lot of documents that have been coming at you. Sometimes they even confuse us, if I'm being completely honest. So we just appreciate everybody's patience and understanding with this. I think this is going to be a much easier, well, I know this is going to be a much easier way to move money around if and when that is needed. So we just appreciate everybody's patience. And again, just to reiterate, and you all are good about reaching out with questions. Just please don't ever hesitate to do that. And if one of us can't get you the answer, we can find somebody that will. Because contract lingo is not always the easiest thing to understand. So we're happy to help in any way.
Cool. Thanks, Kelly. And thank you, April, for the question, for the clarifying question. Okay, with that, again, if any questions come up, reach out to us. You can include Kelly and myself, just me, just Kelly, whatever you would like. So I will go ahead and pass things over to Alex.
Thanks, Becky. Thanks, Kelly. Appreciate it. So I just have a couple of things that I wanted to highlight real quick for everyone, and then we'll kind of open up the floor for questions about, any of the data stuff. The first thing is on the JBBS website, and I'm going to share my screen so that y'all can see it. I just recently recorded a new training video that goes over the monthly contract monitoring tool and CiviCore. So to find that, this is the homepage. This is the JBBS website. You scroll down to the resources for county jails, BHA resources, and JBBS trainings. And the very first link there is JBBS monthly contract monitoring tool and CiviCore training. Yeah, I can put that link in the chat, no problem. So it's about 45 minutes long. It's really, the focus is on the monthly contract monitoring tool, but the last half is kind of CiviCore, because CiviCore is pretty straightforward, especially if you used it before. It's more, I put it there if you have somebody new that comes on, or if you forgot how a process works, or you just want clarification on something. I know that when I first learned something, right, I'll remember it for a week, and then when I have to do it again a month later, I'm like, how does this work again? So I recorded this video for those purposes. Right underneath that, there's a
wicked short staff today.
Hey Bobby, can you go on mute, please? Thank you.
There we go. Thanks, Bobby. I was like, oh man, this is tough. So right underneath the video is the CiviCore pathways document, and Kelly's been sending this out to people before, so you've probably seen it. But it basically is these are the ways that somebody can move through. Thanks, Kelly. These are the ways that somebody can move through the JBBS program and how it can be documented in CiviCore. So somebody's referred but not admitted, right? They're because they're ineligible. Somebody's referred and admitted and they're currently in the program. Somebody's referred, admitted, and they're unsuccessfully discharged. Somebody's referred, admitted, and they're successfully discharged. There's 7 or 8 pathways, ways that people can move through the program. So what we did is we put that document together, and it kind of explains what each pathway looks like. And it goes step by step on how to fill things out in CiviCore. So I went ahead, I talked about it in the video. And so I went ahead, I said, well, we'll just put the PDF of that thing right up underneath the video. So those two are brand new. Just to, remind everybody, we've got the game presentation here under the roundtables. There's all the roundtable videos. Learning community meetings are right here. Quarterly work groups are right here. And for gain stuff, the gain trainings right here. And then all the office hours are posted right here. So when we're done with this one will go up here for April 30th, right? So just a bunch of resources that are on the JBBS website. We've been working to kind of make those accessible, right? So that and up to date so that you all have that stuff. We're also currently working on revamping the website to make it even cleaner and clearer and easier to use. Okay, so just know that process we're in the works. Nothing's changing yet. Probably won't change before the start of the state fiscal year on July 1st, but somewhere after that, we're going to change things around a little bit. And again, the goal is to not make it harder. It'll make it easier to navigate through all this stuff. Okay, so any questions about the JBBS website or the training video or the CiviCore Pathways document, anything like that? Cool. Yeah, go
Alex,
ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me just throw this out there. We are currently working on revamping the JBBS website. I had asked folks to send us some success stories. If you have any of those at your facilities, we would love to hear about those so we can highlight them on our website. So stay tuned. This is something that Becky and Alex and I are working on. It's a rather large undertaking, as you can imagine, to get this whole website updated. But I think once we do, it's going to be a lot more user friendly and hopefully not as difficult to find certain things. So be on the lookout for that, but we'll let you know once that is complete. But in the meantime, yes, if you have anything you would like to highlight from your jails, please send them our way. I've gotten a few from Larimer County and blanking right now.
Mesa and
Mesa,
Garfield.
there, yes, thank you. And reading those stories was so cool. So we're anxious to highlight those once we get this up and going. So thank you all.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge part of explaining JBBS's success too, right? As the data guy, right? Like I think in numbers a lot, and that's what we're trying to represent the dashboard. But that doesn't necessarily have any more value than the success stories do, right? And we want to be able to kind of highlight those qualitative narrative stories and explanations of like how this has helped people on the ground. So I think both of those things are evidence to support the efficacy, the effectiveness of the program overall, for sure. So anything like that can help. We're also working to revise the JBBS 101 document. So again, when you get somebody new or you get somebody who's like, what is JBBS? You could share that document, be all updated. We're working on a new FAQ section, frequently asked questions. We'll add to that when we get new questions that get asked of us. So again, kind of a one-stop shop for a bunch of resources to kind of make it easier for everybody. Okay. Okay, two other things I wanted to talk about. So the monthly contract monitoring tool, the new one for April is going to go out tomorrow, by the end of the day tomorrow. I wanted to highlight a couple of things. So one is in this particular April monthly contract monitoring tool, there's like a one-off set of questions that we're asking because we need to gather some information about MAT meds and OTP, opioid treatment providers. So instead of kind of adding this to the quarterly survey or adding this to the every month kind of thing, we just wanted to do a one-off. It's a quick 4 questions. Does your facility track number of MAT meds provided? Please list all those MAT meds that your facility currently provides. And again, you kind of list them out individually. We're going to take that information. We're going to build a kind of overall picture of what all the MAT medications look like across all the jails. And then, does your facility ask if a MAT client is engaged with an opioid treatment provider, an OTP? And if yes, please explain that process in more detail. For example, who's responsible for contacting the OTP and when does that happen? Now, I want to be really clear. We don't want to add questions, we don't want to add more to your plate at all. That's why this is a one-off thing, but we really need to get this information because we're working with a couple of people on our end of things and with a couple other agencies on a lot of different things, right? And this information kind of helps us with that process. Yeah, go ahead, Kelly.
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback off of that. So we had a meeting here at the BHA about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago with many of the community, the opioid treatment providers in various communities across the state. So what this is going to do, what we're trying to do by answering or asking this question is, we need to know, and they need to know, if one of their clients comes into your jails, it is imperative that that connection is made to that agency so that they know that that individual is in the jail. I know that some jails already do this. They already ask this question at intake if they are connected to an OTP. But it's crucial, just as far as continuity of care goes. We just want to make sure that those connections are being made so that people know where their folks are if they end up incarcerated. So again, this is more just to kind of, it's for continuity of care purposes, so that we can know, or that they can know, who's in your jails. So I wanted to just give you a little bit more background information. That's kind of how this came up, but I think it will be helpful for your staff to know if they are connected with somebody already in the community. Sorry, just want to throw that out there. Thanks.
No, you're all good. And Commander Youngclass, yeah, I can send these out. I'm going to send out the link for this tomorrow, right? So it's going to be in your inbox when you click on the link. But what I'll do in that email, I'll put a list of the questions in that email so that you have it. Again, it's only 4 questions. And it's, yeah, you got it. And it's just this one time, right? Unless this conversation comes up a year from now, and then we might add it again. But the idea is it's not going to be on every month. It's not going to be on the quarterly survey. We just want it at one time. We need to know this so that we can kind of do some other work on the side. So that's that. Yeah, and I will send out, when I send the link tomorrow, I'll send that list of questions along with the link for sure. The other one that I just added is this question 2. This one is permanent. Of those individuals that receive JBBS services a month, how many receive MAT services? The reason we added that there is that, so under them in the MAT section that's down here further, some people were reporting bigger MAT numbers than the number of people served by JBBS. So I added this up here so that it's really clear, like the MAT number of people that are being served by the MAT program should always be smaller than the number of people served by JBBS. Because again, we're only asking about people that are getting MAT treatments that are paid for by JBBS, right? And so it could be the same number. They could both be 84. If every single person in your program is getting MAT, then those could be the same number. But we were getting some weird results where people were saying, oh, we've got 100 MAT clients, but JBBS has only served 75 people. And that wasn't lining up. So I added this question on here to make it really clear, like, of those people that receive JBBS services, how many people received MAT services or programming? So it's a subset. Now, again, we're keeping this on here for now. If this cleans up in the future, we might look for a way to kind of reduce these questions back. But because we were getting some weird responses, we had to really clarify this so that we understand how many people are getting MAT. And this question here is literally, it should be the same number for that as it is for this one in the MAT section. How many in unduplicated individuals in your facility receive MAT treatment paid for by JBBS? Those two numbers should be the exact same. So the same number is going in 2 different places, but adding that question above, right underneath the first question, will make it clearer. Hey, this is always good. How many of the total number of JBBS people being served, how many people are getting MAT services, right? And that helps us out to get better numbers and explain what's going on with the JBBS program in these facilities. So any questions about that? Again, it's a small change, but I know, it is a change. So I wanted to make sure you knew about it. It happened last month, actually, but I just wanted to kind of reiterate it and talk about it in this office hours real quick. So any questions about that or the monthly contract monitoring tool? Cool. Awesome. So I just have one more thing I wanted to talk about, and that is, I'm going to go back to the dashboard. And I've talked about this before, which is this new window that we added for the 1-year recidivism rate. But I just wanted to, I'm going to show you the dashboard, then I'm going to explain something on the back end that's really important for this. So as you know, the dashboard pulls from CiviCore, right? And this 1-year recidivism rate is one of the most important pieces of evidence that we have that says, hey, JBBS is doing something, right? When we turn back the clock to 2012, This red line are people that are referred but not admitted, and the blue line is people that are admitted to the program. And basically, this is how likely is it that somebody's going to come back within 1 year, right? And so for the people that are referred but not admitted, they're 28% likely to come back and show up again. If they're admitted to JBBS, they're 8%. So you're literally 20% more likely to return and come back and show up again in the CiviCore database if you don't get admitted to the JBBS program. That really suggests that, hey, JBBS is doing something. It's really making a difference, and that people who are admitted to the program are less likely to come back, okay? So that's really cool, and we have this kind of one weird year. Again, there's kind of explanations for that, but basically, except for that 1 year, every year has the red line be higher than the blue line. And that's really strong evidence that, hey, JBBS is working, it's doing something. But attached to that, the reason for that, the reason that we can show this is all related to CiviCore, right? And so in CiviCore, we have to make sure, and I'm doing this in the meetings when I'm meeting with individual counties, right? Anytime I get a chance, I just want to remind people to enter those people into CiviCore that get referred but not admitted, because that's the red line. And if we don't have enough of those people, that red line doesn't have enough power to show us the difference. And the idea, again, here is somebody's admitted, they're receiving treatment, they're getting individual sessions, they're getting group sessions, they're getting the kinds of things that JBBS really wants to provide. And that's the stuff that we think reduces recidivism. So this is just a reminder, a kind of appeal to everyone to make sure everybody who gets referred to JBBS gets in here, even if they're not admitted. We want to show that so that we have enough people in this red line category, people that are referred but not admitted, to compare to the people that are admitted. And when you're in CiviCore, I just want to show you real quick, when you're in CiviCore, when you add a new referral, it's these questions right here. Is client eligible, right? You enter, you put client info, you put in referral date, booking date, screening date. You say, is client eligible? No. And you're done. You click submit. That should take less than 5 minutes. The system will record them as being referred but not admitted, right? Same thing if let's say they're eligible, but they say, you know what, I don't want to do this. Do they decline participation? Okay, they decline. That's it. You click yes, you submit, you save. That's it. And then it'll show, again, it'll show up in the system as referred but not admitted. Okay, let's say they're eligible, they want to do it, but they get out after 2 days. Well, that's what the next question is, right? Release before being admitted. Again, you click yes, you submit. It'll say, hey, this person is referred but not admitted. They'll show up in that red line, right? And that helps power that analysis. Now, after all that, if they're eligible, they don't decline, and they're not released early, that's when it opens everything else up. And when you put a date in here for admission date, that's when the system will record them as being formally admitted to JBBS. So I know it's kind of a complicated process. I know it's kind of asking a lot of everybody, but that's really doing a lot of work on the back end when we're looking at this recidivism, because we're looking at the people that fall into these categories, referred but not admitted, and we're comparing it to the people that have an admission date. So what gets into CiviCore really, really determines whether we can say, hey, JBBS is effective. And those recidivism numbers are going to get updated here soon with the most recent fiscal year. So it'll be really interesting to see kind of every year we do this, we'll have more and more data, and we're hoping to be able to show a really strong effect of JBBS. That way, when people come to us and say, hey, we're going to take your money, we can say, no, look, we're doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing, right? JBBS is effective, it's working, people are coming back less often. And when we couple that with the narratives, right, the success stories, all that stuff, those two things are really powerful evidence that say, hey, we're serving a lot of people, it's reducing recidivism. Here's stories of people that have seen the success because of the program. It really helps us to to sell, right, what we need to explain to people who don't know what we're doing, right? So I just wanted to kind of go over that process again. Again, it's not, you don't have to change what you're doing per se. I just want you to be aware of that, because it's so important for this analysis, this recidivism piece, which is, you know, again, and I'll just go back up to the top of the website, right? JBBS, this approach should result in shorter jail sentences and decreased recidivism through better identification. That's legislatively part of the mission of the program. So we need to be able to turn around and show people, hey, this decreases recidivism. I don't know how we're going to show shorter jail sentences, since most people in JBBS are pre-sentenced. How can you have a shorter jail sentence when you're pre-sentenced? But one problem at a time, right? And the problem right now that we're trying to show is, hey, we are decreasing recidivism. Okay, so any questions about that, about CiviCore, or about the recidivism rate, anything like that, the dashboard?
We really hope that this is a benefit to you all. It's not just meant for our needs and our purposes, but you know, Alex in particular, along with a contractor that we used, really worked very hard to put this together. And I think it's showing a lot of trends. I think it's showing some areas of maybe some improvement. I think it's highlighting some areas that are working really well. So yeah, we're grateful for Alex's help with this, because I think anyone that has seen this and used this, we've gotten really positive results from that. So
that recidivism stuff, the question is that pulled from across the state? It's pulled from each individual jail. Let me pull it up one more time. I can just show you, because it's kind of cool, because you can look at the overall. That's what this is showing right now. This is every JBBS jail across the state going back to 2012, which is when we have the first data in CiviCore. That's the other cool thing. That's showing what, 13, 12 years basically worth of data. But the cool thing about the dashboard, you can break it down, right? So over here you could look at, okay, I just want to look at what's going on in large jails, right? And so you just select large jails, okay, and you're going to see it's going to look different, you know, or medium-sized jails, boom, it's going to look different. Or you can look at your specific county. So over here, you just click the all, that'll unselect everybody, and you just pick your county, right? So if we want to look at, okay, what's Jefferson County's recidivism rate, right? And then it'll take a minute, of course. Let's see if it'll work for me. It's getting caught up here. I'm going to have to refresh the page. Oops. Over here, 1 year recidivism. Pull this out. I was just using it this morning, so I know it works. I was just looking. Here we go. So like if you want to look at, here's Denver's recidivism rate, right? Or if we just wanted to look at El Paso, right? So it's showing, when you click all at the top, it's showing across all those facilities. That's this big trend line, which is, you know, that's really what we want to showcase. We want to say JBBS as a whole works, right? When you add everybody together, we're seeing this drop in recidivism. But it also is helpful for your individual facility for you to kind of look at some of these things. Well, Custer's probably not a good example, but you know, you can really dial it in and zoom in on a specific institution, on a specific facility, and get a sense for what's going on. Or like I said, you could look at the jails, like different size jails, right? What's going on in the extra small jails, right? And how does that compare to the small ones, you know? So, and to Kelly's point, this is a little bit about how the sausage gets made, but we really had to fight to make this public. When we went to the higher ups, they were really reluctant to let us put this on the website. And I was like, no, we really need to do that, because I want the facilities to be able to use this. I want them to be able to show their county commissioners what's going on. I want the county commissioners to be able to look at this. I want the people who have relatives that are in the JBBS program to be able to look at this, right? But that was not, that wasn't something that was originally everybody was on board for. So, you know, we really fought to make this public so that we could use it, you can use it, anybody can use it. And that was harder to do than I thought it would be. So anyway, please make use of it. If you ever have questions, you're like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do this? You know, I'm happy to sit down with you and go over things. We could talk about it in a county meeting one of these days, whatever works. But again, the goal here is I want you to be able to use this to help improve your program and see what's going on for sure. So, okay, cool. So I guess I will go ahead and I'll stop sharing first of all. And then second of all, I will just open it up across the board. Does anybody have questions about anything? Any data related stuff? We can go back to contracts. Kelly and Becky are both still here. So any and all questions under the sun.
okay. That's it. We got it.
Awesome. Thanks, Ray. That's good. We just worked with Ray yesterday and threw a bunch of information at him. So I'm glad you're doing good. Well, we say this every time we meet with you, but open door policy. If you think of a question right after you hang up, send us an email, right? And if we can't get an answer, if you're like, hey, this is a really complex thing, can we set up a meeting? No problem. We're always here to set up those meetings, have those conversations, answer those questions, show you how to do stuff. That's what they pay us the big bucks for, right? So, but yeah, I guess I'll just finish up by saying thanks for your time. Thank you for coming down here. Thank you for the work that you do. It's showing up in the dashboard. It's showing up in the monthly contract monitoring tool. And we're able to identify problems and fix issues and get things better and looking better. And I think that helps lift all boats, right? The better each county looks, the better the whole program looks. And that's what we want to be able to say. We want to be able to say we are one of the most effective, if not the most effective, jail-based behavioral health service program in the country. That's the goal, and so this is the process by which we can get there, definitely.
Great.
Well, thank you, Alex. Thank you, everybody, for your time. We'll schedule another office hours probably. I'm thinking we'll probably skip May because May is nuts, right, guys? Maybe sometime June.
Well, and we do have our mandatory meeting in June for the kickoff. So maybe that's probably when we'll see you all again.
Yeah, that's specifically for program coordinators. So if you are not the program coordinator or representatives for the program coordinator, if the program coordinator happens to be on vacation. So we're
when
hoping.
Is that meeting? When is that, towards beginning or middle or
beginning
end?
of June? Yeah, that's June 4th at 1:30.
So maybe we'll shoot for an office hours kind of later part of the month, later half of the month. We'll do something like that. And again, that'll be open to all. But if anything comes up before then, just let us know, right? We can set up a meeting real quick, meet with you individually, meet with your team, whatever you need. Just because the office hours is 2 months from now doesn't mean you can't get a question answered for 2 months. Definitely.
Right.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.